Sir, I wanted to know why in Europe there was no prophet. We do not know any prophet appearing in Europe or any divine book. Why was that?
I think this statement is not correct. According to the Holy Quran, there is no geographical region on earth which was deprived of the office of prophecy. Everywhere in the world, to every people, to every geographic unit, and to every nation, according to the Holy Quran, prophets have been sent. So, if you read the pre-Christian history of Europe, you will find that each country of pre-Christian Europe had its own religious beliefs and had its own religious elders in which they believed. But those beliefs were closer to idolatry than to the concept of prophethood. That is also true. But that is also true of every other region in the world. The true prophets, ready and cut to measure, they are only found in the Holy Quran or in the line which precedes, that is the line of Judaism. Elsewhere what you see is a phenomena like Jesus Christ in between the two phenomena. The Holy Quran's concept of prophets and the Judaism's concept of prophets are in alignment with each other. In between you see a different phenomena, a prophet turned into God. That is the real phenomena which took over everywhere else in the world and distorted the figures of prophets to something closer to the concept of Allah than of that of a prophet. That is what happened everywhere, with the result that if you do not have access to their original books, so that you could draw your own conclusions and prove that originally they were prophets and not idols besides Allah, you just don't know them. You just have received a history in a package deal, and you have to accept that there were no prophets but just various gods and so on and so forth. But wherever you know, this is the result which I am telling you, and that makes us sure that our general principle is correct. For instance, we know about Jesus Christ positively, that he never claimed to be a son of God. Bible still proves it, to the contrary of the belief held by the Christians. Yet he rose to that Godhood under the observant eyes from all sides, from the observant eyes of the Jews and the observant eyes of the Muslims and the world around. Somehow yet the figure of Christ escaped into the higher order of Godhood, and we see that phenomenon and observe it. And we know that Krishna was a reality in India and he was not a God. Yet he is turned into a God under our very observations. About his historical reality we can't have doubt. He was a historical reality. And we know of the wars as well, of Korul and Pandu and all that. And we know that he was a man. Yet he is presented like a God. So wherever we had access for investigation, we always reached the conclusion that originally those who were prophets were turned into gods by their own people. So that makes us understand the previous history of every religion. And wherever there is a sign of religion, there you will find the same phenomena happening. And this is but natural. It had to be like this. Why? Please sit down. For another 5 or 6 months I have tried to explain this. This is very interesting and very important, because there are two phases in the histories of prophets. One phase of extreme hatred and rejection. The people whom a prophet addresses do not want to bow their head to the yoke of an outside ruler who commands from outside as if from above and suddenly becomes the absolute dictator over them. He begins to control their earnings, their finances, their way of life, their love, their hatred, everything. Interferes into the very depth, nature of life itself. So it is not acceptable to them. What they say, what they turn back and say, look here, we know what you are. You are less than a man. And you are claiming to be more than a man by claiming that you are a prophet. This is how they treated Jesus Christ. In the early stage, they exactly said this, that you are not even a man because you are illegitimate. And you are talking of being a superman, how can we believe you? So this is the first stage. But once they begin to believe in him, there is a psychological reaction to exactly the opposite side. The swing of the pendulum is now moving in the opposite direction. And they begin to themselves to elevate him beyond the status of man. The previous attitude was, you are not even man, you are below man. And now they say, no, you are not man, you are above man. So the resultant is exactly the same in both cases. The rejection of prophethood. The point is that the man does not want to bow under the yoke of Allah's rule. He wants to be free, he wants to do what he pleases, and is not ready to succumb to a foreign pressure. In the first instance, he invented this excuse, that you are not man, how could we bow to you, you are less than a man. And later on they invented an excuse for the rejection of future prophets, in fact. Now they would say to the next prophet, the previous one which we accepted, he was more than a man, he was superhuman. All his miracles and all that, his way of life shows that he is something situated between man and Allah, but not an ordinary man. No, this is why we bow to him. We are too upright and too strong and too powerful to submit to your will, to man's will. So we never submitted to man anyway at all in the past. If you come as a superman, if you come as something beyond human beings, as we accepted the earlier one, we will accept you as well. So the resultant of both this distorted phenomena is exactly the same. In the first instance, it ended into the rejection of the previous prophet. The second phenomena is preparation for rejection of the second prophet who is to come. And it all begins all over again. So this is the history of acceptance and rejection of prophets among all religions of the world. And the phenomena of distortion is common to everybody. Now I think it's time for prayer. Now prayer we have said already. All right, if somebody wants to ask a question, yes, Madhu side please.